Alright, so today I am going to attempt to teach you all how to utilize this technology, this innovative technology known as Pear Deck. So Pear Deck essentially is a interactive slideshow. So in order to use Pear Deck to its full capacity, you're going to want your students to either have iPads or Chromebooks, and I realize that that's not necessarily feasible for everybody at all times, but when it is, I think this is a really cool way to get students individually engaged. So basically what I've done is I've made a slideshow called Pear Deck to teach you about Pear Deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start presenting. So here we go, start presenting. And I am also using the Screencast-O-Matic technology for me and the computer because it's crucial that you see the difference between what's on the screen and what's projected up on the smartboard or Promethean and what students are going to be seeing on their iPads. I'm going to use my phone, but it'll give you the gist. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to open a dashboard session. So as a teacher, this is what you would do, and you'd say, all right guys, I need everybody to please log in to peardeck.com/join. Okay? So it gets you there, you log in with your Google account. The first time it takes a little bit, but once kids have signed in to Pear Deck with their Google account, it's really easy. You just press your name and it logs you in. Then you enter the code, so YJGYE. Say that 5 times fast. Good. And it says, you're in. Your instructor will begin shortly. And as you can see over here on our actual smartboard on the Promethean, it's going to tell you who all has joined. So right now it's just me. Let's imagine I have a class of 30 students and I'm waiting. I can see who has and who has not joined. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch views. So I'm going to open projector view so it's just like a full screen. And we're going to start. So the first slide says, I think that it is difficult to engage with each student individually on a daily basis. That's what the projector says. My iPad or Chromebook is going to say something like this. Okay, do you see how it has an agree and a disagree side? What I can do as a student is I can take this and I can slide my dot wherever I want. And it's completely anonymous. So I'm going to say I agree. I think it's really hard for us as teachers every single day to engage every single student individually. Now, one trick that you have as a teacher using Pear Deck is right down here. Do you see how there's like an I with a red X through it? You can click on that and it's going to show you your student responses. So I clicked on agree, and I can move this all the way up until my teacher changes the slide. And it's completely anonymous. So imagine 30 students, 20 of them agree, 10 of them disagree. You get a feeling of where your class is at immediately. It's a really efficient way to get feedback from your class that isn't, hey, raise your hand if you understand this, or thumbs up if you understand this. This is a way to engage with technology and get anonymous responses for sometimes students don't feel comfortable saying, yeah, I don't get this in public. So this is a way for them to kind of express those concerns or answer questions or share opinions that they might not otherwise have. So moving on, how can we do this more efficiently? Same thing I have on my phone. This is just a normal slide, and a lot of teachers do normal slideshows and just have a few engaging questions dispersed throughout. You can do it that way. You can do all engaging questions. Whatever your style is, you can definitely make Pear Deck your own. So we'll move on. Pear Deck is really good for quick checks understanding as opposed to, hey, thumbs up if you get it, or something along those lines. We can actually see specific students who do and do not understand. It's a good way to stimulate class discussion. I'll show you that in a little bit. It gives you clear data to adapt curriculum moving forward, and as I said, it engages students on an individual level. And also, drum roll please, it is a Google Drive app. So it easily transfers from Pear Deck into Google Drive, and all the information, all the data, all the answers that your students give transfer into a Google spreadsheet. So you have all of that in one concise, already known location, which is super awesome, and I'll show you that in a little bit as well. Moving on. So, are you excited to learn more about this innovative technology? Woohoo! Yours says that. This is what mine screen says. It gives me the options of, let's do it! Sounds cool. Maybe later, and hashtag long hair don't care. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's do it. Now down here you can see, you can see right here one response. Now imagine you have 30 kids and you only have 15 people that have responded, you know to wait a little bit longer because you have that. Furthermore, again, you can show these students responses. Imagine if there were more students, maybe you'd have some sort of line bar to see what people are thinking, where people are at, what people are understanding, these types of things. Again, efficient, immediate feedback as to what students are understanding. So now, what are some reasons we might want to use Pear Deck in our classroom? See, that's what the screen says. Mine has an open text box, so I can respond with any answer that I want. I'm going to put in, so let's say I say, anonymous answers can help fuel class discussion. Maybe some spelling errors, but that's okay. I post that. See, one response? Okay, so we continue waiting. Our class is starting to respond. Now, we can choose to either show these responses or not show these responses. Again, anonymous. Students being able to voice their opinion, whether it's the normative opinion or not. They can do it in an anonymous way. So we see, obviously, my one answer is not 15 or 30, but when you get 15 or 30, you can scroll through them. So say you ask, we had this discussion in JB's class, should guns be allowed on policemen in schools? Give me your answer and one reason why you think that. Scroll through that. What better way to start a class discussion than to give kids the opportunity to anonymously voice their opinion and think about something and put it out there without people judging them or jumping down their back and saying, no, you're wrong. So I think this is a super, super cool aspect of Pear Deck in the fact that students can anonymously voice opinions and that may not otherwise feel comfortable doing so. So that's something that I think is really important. Also, quick checks for understanding we talked about. Reviewing answers can help you plan future lessons. So things like, okay, these kids really understand this thing, but they don't understand this. Maybe next week we should focus on this more. So being able to adapt our curriculum based on the feedback that we get from these is going to be crucial. And finally, again, I mentioned this, but it engages all students on an individual level. So every single student has the opportunity to give you an answer, to voice their opinion. And that's not necessarily the case in every classroom because it would just take too much time to go around every single day and talk to every single student about what they're feeling, what they understand, what they don't understand. And I'll show you some fun things that you can add also on Pear Deck in this slide. So another trick is being able to ask interactive questions in seconds. Okay, so say we're talking about these gun laws, okay, and maybe I realize like I don't even know where my kids stand, so I'm going to ask them. I'm going to say right down here, it says ask a quick question. I'm going to throw this up here and it's going to be about anything. Okay, so I can choose any of these things. Maybe I'm going to say, hey, do you think policemen should be able to carry guns in school? And this is just on the spot. I say that out loud. I put this slide up there. And this is what I get, what my students get on their screen. So it's an immediate, like, I didn't think to ask this question before, but since the discussion went this way, I'm going to let my kids drag their dot to whichever way they think so I can see. Now I can, again, show student responses, and you can see how many are on either side. Okay, so just another trick, like, yes, you can't, and this is something we talk about a lot with discussion, you can't plan for everything. But this is a way that you can take something that you've been discussing, take something that has turned into more than you thought it would, and ask a question about it and get immediate feedback from your class that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do without having them raise their hand or write down something. This is just quick, efficient, and immediate, which is, I think, super awesome and wonderful to have in a classroom. Now, what we're going to do, hello? Okay, so this is the end of the slideshow, right? What I do is I end the slideshow, and I'm going to save this as presentation number 1, because who knows, I might not like this one and I might have to do it all over again. So I'm going to save it. Save and end session, right? This will bring me back to my home page, and I can go over here on this left toolbar and I can click on sessions, right? Hello? Maybe? Okay, here it goes. So, presentation number 1. Done. Woohoo. Oh, and mind you, just so you guys know, and then it says your teacher has ended this session. So when the session's done, kids don't have access. They can't switch slides. They can't go move ahead or go back. They get exactly what's on the screen. So your computer and your Pear Deck is completely synced with what they have on their interactive device. Okay? So that's something I think that's worth noting. Now, I clicked on my session, okay, that we just did, and what I can do is I can go through each of these and look at all of the answers that each student gave. And you can imagine over here, instead of having just me, Sarah Ellis, there would be a lot more answers, and you could see, hey, these people feel this way, these people feel this way, or Sarah thinks that the discussion aspect of Pear Deck is really cool, but maybe little Sally thinks that the engaging with each individual student is most important. So being able to see all these things really will give you as a teacher an understanding and give you the ability to better individualize your instruction to each student's needs. Now, in terms of the class and getting information about the class as a whole, what we can do is we can export. So I click export right up there in the right hand corner, and it's going to fetch my responses. Okay, let's go. And it's going to put them into a whatever Google spreadsheet. And I'm not going to tell you I'm like a genius at Google spreadsheets, because I'm not. I can do some stuff, but I know from here there is a way to combine all the information and see how similar some of your class's ideas are, or different, or even compare between classes, which I think is a super cool thing. A lot of people really like having hard data to be able to make changes within how they're teaching. And this is a way to get that a lot of different means doesn't necessarily have, or maybe might take a lot more work to do it. I'm going to end here. If I was on Pear Deck, I would ask the question, are there any questions, and offer the kids an opportunity to type in any questions they might have anonymously. That, I think, is so cool. Like, do you have any questions? Instead of raising your hand, have kids post questions. Hey, I really don't understand this, or what's your favorite color? Or, I mean, I'm sure kids are going to get a little silly with it, but once it becomes routine, I think it's something that can be really used effectively in a classroom setting. So, I hope this was helpful. I hope that at some point you guys take the step and try and use this type of technology in your classrooms. I didn't mention that it's free to get it. In order to do some of the things like drag the dot, or there's also drag the line, there's a lot of different options for ways you can have students answer questions. Some of them you do have to have a premium account and you have to pay. It's like $30 a year. But for the basic like functions, answering multiple choice, yes or no questions, free response answers, those are free, and you can have a free account and it's linked to your Google. So yeah, if there are any questions, I don't know, feel free to ask me in class, or I don't even know if you guys are going to get to see this or if it's just our professor, but yay, thank you. Let's see if I can end this screen-o-matic thing.